What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. I'm Brad.
There we go.
And after the season 1 finale of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, all is right in the world, which is strange. It's weird to have a Walking Dead story end with not a cliffhanger or something planting a seed for something bad to happen later on. Like it felt like a genuinely
Guys, The Walking Dead's
happy.
over.
That was it. That was nothing. The stories with Carol, with Daryl, with Negan, with Maggie, everything. We're not going to find out what's been happening with Judith at Alexandria. We're that's it. That's the end. All is
That's
right in
it.
the world.
Yep.
Everything is good. No, but I didn't. Look. I enjoyed the finale. I thought this whole series was great. It's been the best Walking Dead series, spin-off series so far. And it felt we got a lot of things answered about the CRM, things that have been teased for what 6, 7, 8 years with the helicopters and Rick being taken and the A's and B's and just I mean years of asking questions about the CRM and about the meaning of all of this. We got answers to. We
It
got a
only
lot
took
of answers.
7 episodes to answer it.
100%. Six
Wow,
episodes.
six, yeah.
Well, we got a heck of a lot of answers in the Echelon briefing, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But it was a good finale. I will say I thought it threw me off a little bit. I thought that they would extend this storyline further, and I think there is still a way to extend it further. I'm gonna save that, I think, for a different video. I'm gonna drop that this weekend because I have a couple of thoughts on how you could extend it. But I thought that we were moving toward. You and I even talked about this. I thought we would be moving towards a war with the CRM, between the CRM and the Commonwealth and all the other different communities, and kind of having to band together against them before they basically commit mass genocide.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we didn't get that. I mean, they found a way to wrap up the story in and of itself. And if you listen to the
Wrap
episode
it up
Insider
fast.
after, Scott Gimple had even said, they wanted to tell a full, complete story in The Ones Who Live, and I think they did that, and I think they did a really, really great job of that. You know,
Yeah, I'd agree with that notion. I mean, were we all expecting the ones who lived to be left over
excuse me.
with a giant cliffhanger? I mean, it was kind of setting up to be that way, at least. I mean, if we were to follow like any type of like TV series script, like you lead up to the big finale, and there's always something moving forward, or like I was expecting at least like your typical Walking Dead like cliffhanger, or
Right?
like
Yeah.
little tease of another big moment coming. But
Excuse me.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they introduced the CRM, they gave the bad guys for the CRM, and they killed the bad guys the CRM.
Yeah. They created a pretty cool villain. I mean, everybody really seemed to like Beale an awful lot. He was
Mm-hmm.
he's another example of, like, he truly believed what he was doing was the right thing,
Mm-hmm.
and he seemed so calm and confident and sure of what was happening. He was a great villain, and I wish we would have seen a little bit more of him. Honestly,
I wish
I
I could see
kept,
more of him in action, if that makes sense, because I wanted to see him like see just how evil of a villain, or just how good of a villain he can be.
yeah, yeah,
Primarily because like you've seen the charismaticism of Negan and the brutality of him, along with the organization and the strategy of the governor, and the ferocity of Alpha. Like you see all that come into play throughout
right,
multiple seasons, if that. And it just felt weird for me to see Beale be treated as like Terminus, or like the Marauders,
yeah,
or like the CRM just didn't they don't seem like such a one time like evil faction or something like that, like something
right,
that's not going to be like spread out through like a whole like all out war, or the Whisperers war.
yeah,
Like, so it was interesting to see this complete story, and not assume that the CRM is just gonna abide by the status quo that Rick and Michonne
yeah,
settled.
Well, and I don't know. I think part of it was fear, like looking at Rick and Michonne, because there wasn't. We took this entire series. We took episodes 1 and 2 to get reacquainted with both of those characters, and
Mm-hmm.
then we took episodes 3 and 4 and 5 to really dive into this like emotional battle, because Rick up to this point has been, I think you could say I apologize, I'm coughing. I promise I don't have the zombie virus. I've had a little bit of a respiratory thing going on. But we've seen that Rick is so scared of what the CRM will do. He is living in fear. He is abiding, and he's sipping the Kool-Aid, not drinking. He's not just tipping it back like Thorne did, or like Okafor did. Which Okafor didn't really. He didn't really drink the Kool-Aid like that.
Yeah, I didn't really understand. Like
he
me.
wanted. He thought that the way Rick, I think how Rick justified it in his head, and how
So was Okafor down for like kidnapping and killing kids too?
No, I think Okafor wanted to change the CRM from the inside out. That's what he wanted Rick and Thorne to be a part of, making the CRM a better thing for the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Thorne, I think Thorne, we kind of saw her evolve into more of a villain like archetype, because she started out as a good person wanting to do good things,
Mm-hmm.
on Okafor's side of things, like, let's change the CRM from the inside out, let's make it a better place for people, let's let's do things in a positive way. And even at when her and Rick reunite in this episode, she's even like, Okafor was wrong. Like, she says it in more words than that, but you can tell that Thorne, after she gets the Echelon briefing, like Jadis was, it's just like,
Oh, who gets the Echelon briefing and thinks, yeah, I vibe with it.
But
I'm with
again,
you.
I think it's fear, because I think him saying, there are not enough resources on planet Earth for human beings to survive if we're all trying to survive. Like, it's going, like, in order to ensure the human race's survival, it's going to take like a mass genocide and hoarding all resources, basically, in order to do that. But it makes me scratch my head. Like, it gives Jadis a whole other darker vibe, because in episode 5, when Jadis dies, it was like, oh, okay, she's seeing the light, she's letting Rick go home, she's giving them an out.
Mm-hmm.
But she would have known that the CRM was going to start finding communities and slaughtering them for their resources. Like, she knew that was going to happen.
Right.
So she was essentially just sending Rick and Michonne home and being like, enjoy what little time you have left with your people,
like,
before you're gassed,
Yeah, I kind of figured. I guess my guess was correct, because I'm pretty sure I said that like the Echelon briefing was just going to be like going after communities,
Yeah.
or something like that. I just didn't know that they were going to destroy fucking Omaha like that. Like, fucking hell, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so essentially, I think we took the 3 middle episodes, the mid chunk of this series, to build back better, to get Rick back into who Rick is, because Rick's whole thing with blowing the bridge and trying to make the saviors a part of what was happening between all the other communities, and getting everybody on the same page and working together and fighting for each other. I think Rick believed in people working together.
Mm-hmm.
And he lost that largely. And I think we took those 3 episodes to get Rick back in the mindset of like, okay,
They like challenge him back into it,
right? Like, getting him back in the mindset of like, you're Rick Grimes, like you can,
I'm
like,
Rick Grimes, bitch.
you can make the world a better place. You're officer friendly. Like, nobody else can say that they're officer friendly. But
I forgot, was that a nickname?
Yeah, that's what Merle called. Merle called him officer friendly. Yeah,
Ooh.
in like seasons 1, 2, and 3.
Officer friendly.
But I think the whole thing at the beginning is like Rick and Michonne thinking about Carl's vision, and because Carl wanted Carl wanted all the communities to work together. Carl believed in people figuring it out together, because
he did. While the town was getting bombed, yes, we believed in the team.
I know, right? You live in a world of corpses that are walking around trying to chomp down on your face. Like, if people don't band together, people are going to die. And Carl believed that. And I think it took Rick remembering that. And it took Rick believing in that again to snap out of this fear filled trance that the CRM had him in, you know? And
Hmm.
I think that's why it goes to show what good of people Rick and Michonne are, because they were like, you know, Michonne even says, if we don't stop this, what world are we giving to Judith and RJ and to Herschel and to, you know what I mean? Like to,
Yeah.
like what are, if we don't stop what they're doing, then, you know, basically what are we, why are we even escaping, you know?
Hmm.
Um, so it shows their character and it shows how much they want to build a better world, you know? But we learn in the Echelon briefing, as we've kind of talked about a little bit, that the grand plan is to basically annihilate every other major community,
So were
like
they talking
in
about
North
like,
America.
yeah. So were they talking about like kidnapping the kids or like specifically targeting kids? Because I kept seeing
Well,
slideshows and I was too
there,
busy looking at Michonne's like disgruntled face or eyes the entire time for me to like fully
I,
comprehend what was going
I
on.
want to go back and watch it again because there were a few interesting tidbits. So we learned, first of all, going back, Beale is talking about the outbreak that he's from. I think it said he's from Pittsburgh. Um, yes,
No one
because he
was. All
said
villains are from Pittsburgh.
he's.
Just
I
kidding.
know, right? He said he had to. It's funny. I think George Romero's from Pittsburgh. That might have been a cool little George Romero nod. You know.
That would be
Anyways,
cool.
he basically said that when the outbreak first happened. And we know, based on what Jenner has said, we know from Daryl's show, the outbreak, they believe it originated in France, which is interesting. France. That was not a French accent. Francais? I don't know what I'm saying. But we know that the outbreak, the virus originated in France. When it came here, you know, when we see the OG video of Lori and Shane watching them, you know, bomb Atlanta when they're dropping, you know, napalm on the streets of Atlanta, which is just barbaric as hell, man. Like, good lord.
Hmm.
Um, when they're bombing Atlanta, they're bombing LA. Essentially, there was a group that broke off from those what the orders that the government had given when they were trying to stop the transfer of the virus. And
Bro,
we
imagine,
learned that
imagine
there was almost a
similar.
little bit of a civil war between like the U.S. government and this other faction that broke off and was like, no, we're not gonna bomb people. Like, are you out of your freaking mind? You know?
But then Beale goes ahead and does it.
I know that's the weird hypocritical
That's what
nature of
makes
it. It's
zero
like
sense of it. He says,
a,
in
a
order
s-
to do this, we had to bomb the place, but we separated because we didn't want to bomb the place. I'm like,
we're gonna save the world by bombing places.
yeah, I don't,
But
I didn't think the script was doing all that. Was holding firm in
I
that
just think it's
notion. To be
hypocritical, and
honest.
I think it's supposed to be hypocritical. I think Rick sees that it's hypocritical, you know.
Hmm.
But Beale reveals that essentially you know, he was in the military at this point, and he was a high-ranking officer, and he essentially gave the order. They knew of this massive group of the dead, massive group of walkers that
Hmm.
were in between the two cities, and essentially Beale sacrificed saving Philadelphia to, or no, sacrificed saving, what city was that? What two cities was it? What's the other one? What did we just say? Not
Omaha,
Philadelphia. No.
Omaha, Philadelphia, and
No. What did Philadelphia? Not Portland.
I
God,
think
what
it's
am I?
Portland,
No. Where was he from?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. That's what it was. I don't. Too many P named cities. He sacrificed Pittsburgh in order to save Philadelphia, which is why Philadelphia is where the largest member of the CRM is, and the CRM was three cities that happened to remain, you know, standing, that didn't
Hmm.
completely fall when the apocalypse happened, which was Omaha, where the campus colony was, and Portland and Philadelphia. And of course, you have all the other small communities scattered throughout, like the Commonwealth. I know it's not really small, but you know, you get the idea.
Within like what we're dealing with, you know.
Right. Um, So essentially, we learn more about the outbreak, which I thought was really cool. I always love hearing more about the outbreak and kind of how that happened and tying the pieces together of what we saw with Laurie and Shane watching it happen in season 2 of The Walking Dead, and watching them bomb L.A. at the end of the first season of Fear the Walking Dead. Like I think it's cool tying those things together. But Beale then goes on to say that based on guidance and by models that the CRM has done, the human race basically has 14 years or less before it's out of resources. There's not enough clean water, there's not enough food before the human race would essentially go extinct. And that's why, as we learned in World Beyond, and as we now know in in the ones who live, they essentially gassed Portland, blamed it on a walker horde, said, "Oh, walkers took down the walls and they got in," like, which I'm gonna be real. As a citizen of the CRM, wouldn't you have questioned that? Been like, they made it this long into the apocalypse
Well,
without walkers breaching the wall, and suddenly, like, there was just a mass horde of walkers that made its way. Like, I find that weird that
it's
like
too far fetched, but
anybody would buy that. Now I know that there are, as we even saw in the second episode with Michonne, like there are massive hordes of walkers. He even said they know of hordes of millions of walkers like making their way across the U.S. and Canada essentially, which that's one of the ideas I have for how this could continue. But like, I mean, it's possible, but we also know that the CRM detonates explosives and things like that to try and deter the dead away from the walls and away from the perimeter. So, like, I don't know. It seems weird that suddenly it was just like, oh, zombies did it. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
No, it seems
So,
too far fetched to be honest for anyone to like even assume like at least like with this in the current state of society that we're in. Yeah,
mhm,
that's way too far fetched. But you're also talking about society that's already crumbled and is literally relying on the government
right.
that it's currently being occupied by,
Yeah.
and they are just now finding solace and peace and safety from the zombies. So literally, all you have to do is just say anything to threaten their safety, and the world will follow. Pretty
Right.
much.
Again,
Yeah.
ruling out of fear. Like, that's essentially what the CRM did. And we
Yeah.
learn that we learn during when Michonne's seeing the briefing, as well as what Rick is hearing, we learned that they're planning to do the same thing to Portland. And there's two things that I thought were really interesting. A, they have had spies in there
Yo, when I heard that, I
basically picking
immediately
and
thought,
choosing children. Like, and
yeah,
they're going to evacuate 10% of the child population without them knowing what's going on. But like, that's screwed up. So like, and he even said essentially they're going to be being taken away. They're not going to be told what they're doing. They're just going to be told everything is fine. Meanwhile, outside of the helicopters, their entire family and everyone they know is being chlorine gassed.
hmm
Like,
he,
that's messed up.
they said like, don't say everything's gonna be okay. Just say they're gonna be okay.
Yeah,
Like that's some cold
that's
shit
messed
right
up.
there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty bad. Um, but anyways, the other thing that I find interesting, and I think of people like Hornsby in the Commonwealth. I
Uh-huh.
think of people like, I don't know. There's so many people that that I think of. He also said that they have sent spies into multiple different communities
That's what
around
tells me
North
like, is there
America.
something like, is there one like at Alexandria like already?
I know. It's
That's what
like,
made
are
it kind
they
of
all
scary.
being spied on? Like, that's a big,
Mm.
big open black hole that you could dive into with like spies from the CRM. Again, ties into a different idea I have of how this could all possibly continue. But at some point during the briefing, Beale realizes that, you know,
Rick's not
Rick's
buying
not
it.
he's not on board. Like, this is not okay.
The
He
second he
flashes
pulled out
back
his
to,
gun, that was him pretty much like saying like, I don't think he's gonna say yes.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I should probably
Um
prepare.
it was even like, we flashed back to Okafor when Okafor was like, swear by the sword but don't let it take, essentially like, lie, swear by it, swear that, hey, this is I'm down for, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, it
I'm
tastes
down to
great, it's
clown.
grape flavored, but lie, and you know what I mean.
Hmm.
And he realizes that Rick is not on board, and that's when Rick takes down Beal pretty easily. I kind of expected Beal, dude talks a
Again,
big talk. I
it's
expected
like
him to go down way
it's like
harder
Scott just said, like
than,
the CRM actually really isn't that bad. Like that's pretty much what it tells me.
yeah.
The way they write it, was like, well, as quick as they gone, it like I would just like I know you want to write a cohesive story, but Jesus Christ, you let these two like drop like the biggest like blow to the CRM possible.
Yeah.
And it takes me back to whole Michonne saying, "Is like the two of us can take over the world together."
We are the Walking
I
Dead.
was like, "Get
We're
the
the
fuck
ones
out of
who
here!"
live.
Yeah, we're the
um,
Walking Dead. We blow shit
we're the
up,
ones. We're the
and we're
ones
the
who
ones who
live.
live. Yeah.
Um, but even the way he killed Beal, I thought it was kind of funny. Bro sat there with the sword in his hand for
Hmm.
like literally like a 5 minute conversation of him just like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
It was kind of funny in
Bro,
that way.
Rick was all about that business too. Like, oh, buddy just said, "Nope, you're dead."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He said, "We're not the ones who." He said, "We're not dead, but you are." I was like, "Whoo,
I said,
okay."
"We're the ones that live.
Um,
You are dead.
I know,
Get in the
right?
box. Prepare to blow up."
Dude, shoving him in the box.
That's next level. That's next
I was
level.
like,
Like
wow.
Rick.
I was like, are we getting back like Savage season 5 and 6, Rick? Like, you
Yeah.
know?
Beal asked Rick. He said, "What
Mm.
was the worst thing you've done?" And I was thinking too back. I was thinking back on it. And I was
Well, they
trying to
even
think of all the
flashed
worst.
back through quite a few
I know.
things.
And some of them I was like, no, that's not the worst. But I guess biting someone's throat out with their
That'd
teeth
be
is kind of
pretty bad.
that's pretty
That
rough.
would be that would be pretty rough to go
Yeah.
through. And then even for Carl to watch your dad do that's rough, man. That's a lot.
He looked at Rick
That's a
and he was
lot.
like, I guess we're the Walking Dead and I guess we're eating people and
I know, right? I'm literally the Walking
I
Dead.
am the Walking Dead.
Uh
Yeah.
what did you think of how they took out the CRM elites with the bombs, setting the grenades, and having Beal and the other walker like basically pull the pins as they walk away?
It's so Rick and Michonne love story. This is like their honeymoon. Can you imagine honeymooning to destroying
I
the
know, right?
CRM? Like they get
Chlorine gas
married.
honeymoon.
They get married and they're like, "What do you want to do for your honeymoon, sweetie?" I don't know. Let's topple
Mm,
a post-apocalyptic government.
yeah, a, a
What like
a whole regime, an oppressive regime.
yeah, like hi, we're the Expendables. Hey,
Yeah,
it was a whole. It was pretty much the Expendables. If you would have had the entire like Alexandria group, typical group, it would have been pretty much the same script as like
100%.
the Expendables.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I liked the scene when they're, because they run out of the tent. Thorne sees them after she realizes, like, he knows who
As soon as
Michonne
she
is.
saw the Iron Hand, which by the way, Rick
Why
should have
did he leave
definitely
it?
kept it. Yeah,
Why
that's
did he
dumb.
leave that? Like,
Yeah,
what was the point of him leaving that? Like, that
because
was a dope
he
weapon.
knows Aaron's gonna hook him up,
Bro, that's doper than anything. I don't even know if doper is a word. I don't even know if dope is a word. That's
bro.
way better than
Like,
anything Aaron ever had, though.
bro, he had a
He did have
spiked
the
hand.
spike one. The spike one was kind of cool.
Yeah,
That
that's
was pretty
pretty
dope.
dope.
That was pretty dope.
Yeah,
I don't know, whatever.
I'm not gonna
But
lie, yo, old buddy Rick was using that. He caved that man's head in
he
like
did,
hard. Yeah.
dude. He really did. That was brutal. That was
My
some
thing
season
is
five
like
level,
I
ripping
know,
out
like
Joe's throat with
if
your
I
teeth
was
level bad.
if I was ever like fighting someone, I would not want to fight someone with like an iron hand. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Yeah, I feel
no.
like one punch would have knocked me out. I don't care if
Yeah.
it was like his fist or not.
You know what I thought was funny about though? Rick is going hard. I mean,
Bro, he was going to
this
knock the shit
dude,
out of Michonne.
he is breaking this dude's face into 25 different pieces, and the
Hmm.
door opened, and he turned, and Michonne was just like, Rick. Like she so nonchalant, like he's literally like cremating someone's face on the ground, like
Well, it
turning it
looked
into
like
silly putty. And
I
she
was a
was
little
just like,
concerned.
"Are you
It
done?"
looked like Rick was gonna keep going. He was like, "You're next, bitch." I was
Yeah,
like, "Whoa!"
yeah, it's
So,
crazy.
mm,
He starts being like red fin, blue,
God,
2974. It's like the Winter Soldier thing. Um, but yeah, it it felt quick. I mean, it was good. I liked the way that they took out the CRM, the way that the gas and fighting in the green smog. That was all pretty cool. Seeing him take out walkers, dude. The grenade thing though, when all the walkers piled up on Rick and he pulled the pin, dude has
bro,
incredible
my
plot
dad said,
armor.
"Oh, he's dead."
Dude has incredible plot armor because
Yeah.
he would have blown up in that moment. You're telling me 3 zombies shielded him
Well, he
from
like,
that?
yeah, I don't know.
Really?
That seems pretty tough for me to believe.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
like Michonne
But
stands there
whatever.
like after killing Thorn, and it's like, Rick. It's like,
Well,
what are you calling his name out for? Like, nobody should have been like fucking chum buckets right there.
here's the thing. We didn't actually see Thorn die.
Get the
We
fuck
saw
out of
Thorn get
here,
stabbed, but we
bro.
didn't see
She's
Thorn
in the
die.
chlorine gas. She's dead.
Mm, Michonne survived it.
Okay, but she got away. She got
Nat
away from the
survived it.
gas. She got away from the gas.
I don't know.
She was
It
like,
wouldn't. And Michonne even says it dissipates quick.
bro, it was a bunch of zombies too.
I don't know. I could see them because she was drinking the Kool-Aid, man.
Yeah, you can
She
see
was
Thorn surviving.
she's a
I
true
think
believer.
I think Thorn may end up surviving. She'll probably have like a really messed up face. She'll look like
Probably, right?
fucking Darth
She'll have a little
Vader or
bit of
something.
Dwight in her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I could see that again. I want to do a whole other video about this, so I don't want to
Mhm.
like dive too far into it, but I could see her leading like a resistance to the resistance kind of thing of like
Resistance to the resistance.
a resistance. Like basically she's still trying to carry out the Echelon
Hmm.
plan, whatever. But that's a story for another day. Um, and then we finally got the reunion at the end. We
Yeah,
got the narration. The CRM is working.
they're
They're
reforming.
they're reforming. They're making the necessary changes. People are
Yeah,
allowed to come and go as they wish now. To the Civic Republic. Um, and we did get dude. I was hoping that we would see Judith. As soon as I saw her grab the radio, I was like, "Yep,
there it is.
it's like we're gonna get it. We're gonna get the reunion." Bro, they also I think it's hysterical. They dead ass took a whole plane back to Alexandria, like
Bro,
took an
not
airplane
only
back.
no, okay, it's not an airplane, but
No, but
it not only a helicopter. Oh, buddy, like took a Chinook, which is fucking hard to fly. Like the movie pretty much said, Rick Grimes, state trooper,
it's hardcore pilot.
knows how to fly a Chinook. Like, bro,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah, that's a whole different
we
level of skills, and that takes more than just one hand. No offense,
yeah. But I was glad we got the reveal. My personal thought.
bro.
I was
Rick's
thinking,
boots were crying. Them dogs looked
dude,
rough.
they've been
There's
through.
no
They've been
heel.
through it.
There's no heel on those boots. Like my
Nope.
man was grinding on those
It
bitches.
looks like there's a gaping hole about that big at each toe.
I
But
know.
anyways,
Like
um,
why put them back on? Are they
I
that
don't,
comfortable?
yeah, he
I'm
needs
not
some
that
new shoes.
comfortable,
You're telling me you can't go raid a department store and find yourself a new set of boots? Like
right?
you need some new boots, man. Um, but it's the novelty of it. I get it.
Hmm.
I digress at that point. It was good seeing them reunite. I was hoping that we would. My thought was that we would
He's
see them
right, man.
reunite, but it would still be open somehow of like, oh, there's still a fight to be had. I didn't expect it to feel so complete and feel so happy ending. All the Grimes family is together now and good, Dude, did you think it was a little awkward, Rick meeting RJ? When RJ was like, you're the brave man," and Rick was like,
Yeah. So you're the
"I
brave
am."
man.
He said, "But I think maybe you can just
But
call
you
me
call me
Dad."
father.
I was kind of like, It's
Hello,
really
father.
awkward. It's like it's really weird seeing you two interact with each other because I've
Hmm.
never like seen it before. Dude, Judith got old. I didn't realize Kaylee Fleming was 17. Like, I guess I just permanently picture Judith as being a younger character, but I was just like, oh,
Bro,
like she's
sometimes I
old.
forget.
Like,
Sometimes I
you
forget that
know,
like Judith took a bullet. Like I forget that
dude,
sometimes.
straight up,
She took a
Dude,
bullet and
Judith has
like
been through the ringer on this show.
yeah, she definitely has.
100%. And all of the people that like kept her alive,
Mm-hmm.
Carol, Tyrese, Beth,
Mm-hmm.
Daryl, it's just been like a slew of people that have kept that child breathing through the worst kinds of things. But yeah, it was a solid ending to the series, and I do, it leaves cracks open. I thought we would have big gaping hold of like, oh, this is where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
This is the cliffhanger. This is
Yeah.
where it's going next. And it wasn't. It left it open. I did think it was kind of cool seeing the CRM helicopters bringing resources to
Yeah. So like
all
what?
other communities essentially. Like I think that was kind of cool.
Yeah. So like, but like, what's the CRM gonna be doing now? You know, in regards to like with all the spies and shit. Like, what's the spies gonna be doing?
I don't know.
Like that's what confuses
Which
the
is
hell out of
why
me.
if you still have people that are drinking the Kool-Aid,
Mm-hmm.
like, are they still going to try and carry out the Echelon plan in their own way? Is Thorne going to hook up with them? Like I don't know.
Mm.
Like I could see something like that happening, but what they chose to do, it was a really good ending to the series. It was nice to have The Walking Dead have a happy ending. I will say it was.
It
Got
was nice to
got
see
to say it.
Rick get back because that was always the crutch
Yeah.
of the whole Rick story. Like we were supposed to get a movie, dude. We were supposed to get a
Oh
Rick
yeah.
movie.
Yep.
And honestly to God, dude,
You couldn't have done this in a movie.
I thought you could. I'm not gonna
Really?
lie.
The
Just
whole series?
yeah,
Michonne finding him and that and
yeah,
everything?
yeah.
Oh
I can see us
wow.
doing it in a
I
movie.
don't think you could have done it in a movie. I
Yeah.
think
You
I'm
cut out
way
you
happier they
cut
did it in the
out
series.
you cut out like half of like the oversight shots. Some of the exposition could have been removed. And
The whole Jadis thing probably could have been removed.
partially,
I mean,
yes.
she could have partially she could have been in it, but I mean, the whole them going through like Yellowstone and whatever, like
Hmm.
that could have been removed. But
The initial escape could have been the initial escape from Michonne could have been removed. Like I can think of
yeah.
so many things that this could have been like a 2 hour movie
Right. But
and
it
a good
also, but would it have suffered a little bit then? Because those were crucial points to
no
what was happening. You know,
no
I don't know.
no not
I'm
really.
glad they did it in the way that they did it. I enjoyed it. As it sits right now, it's like an
Hey,
eight.
people in the comments, reach out to the nearest person that you know that does edits and see if they can edit this entire season into like a 2 hour movie. I
Hmm.
guarantee you, it'd probably be possible.
I, I
You heard it here first.
I mean, okay, if
Yeah,
somebody out there wants to do that, do it. But I don't know. I'm skeptical.
it could be
So
done.
prove me wrong. But as it sits right now, it's like an 8.6, 8.7 for me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's like a 7.8 for me. It's good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was nice to see Rick back. It was nice to get old Rick back. I was
Yeah.
a little disappointed with like bitchy Rick in the beginning, but I mean, all
Yeah.
things considered, understandable.
I mean, the storytelling aspect and the narrative was really well done. The acting was
Mm,
incredible. I mean, the
yeah.
performances were specifically
I thought if I had to say
specifically from
something,
Andy and I was really
yeah,
really good.
if I had to like critique one thing about it, I would say, and I think you would agree with me, that the villains feel slightly one-dimensional in this film, in this season.
I don't I don't know if it was one dimensional. I just think they could have been explored a little bit more. And again, time, you would have had to take time to do that, but like
Hmm.
I don't know. I wish that I wish that we would have. That's my biggest gripe is the fact that I wanted Rick to get home, but I also thought we would extend this storyline a little bit longer than we did.
Mm-hmm.
and the ending did feel a little like, and boom, it's over, we're done. Like, and I wish it wouldn't have felt quite as rushed. So I understand
I
what you're
would have
saying.
honestly preferred Rick not be home in the
Really,
season 1.
bro has suffered so much though. Like,
But the way they were pushing that narrative, like closer to the end, it was pushing the idea in my head. I was like, he's gonna stay. He's gonna stay. He's gonna do some things. He's gonna keep
mm,
going. CRM. There's gonna be more players in the field. There's gonna be more actors coming from the CRM.
yeah.
Like where's his buddy
Who?
from the CRM, the plumber guy?
Bro's still living in Philadelphia in
Yeah,
the
like what
Civic
the fuck
Republic.
happened? Yeah, like what happened to him? He was literally in there for like
Thirty
half to
seconds.
5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know,
So
man, but it was a great series, and if you're if you gave up on The Walking Dead at some point, I encourage you to check it out, and I encourage you to check out Dead City and Daryl Dixon too, because um I haven't finished Daryl Dixon. I need to, but Dead City was really, really good. I did finish that one, so I'm actually gonna watch Daryl Dixon next, and I think I'm gonna rewatch World Beyond too, just to give a little bit more context, because World Beyond is where we find out what happened to Omaha and the campus colony. And I know
yeah.
they kind of touched on it a little bit in The Ones Who Live, but I mean, it was essentially the same kind of thing as what they were going to do to Portland, except Portland was a little bit more, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was a really great series. So, our thoughts on every single episode are on the channel. So go ahead and check those out, as well as reviews of Dead City, and we've got quite a few different Walking Dead videos on the channel, and I've got a playlist of all of those together. So it's been a fun ride. Glad we got to do this. Thank you guys so much for watching. New episodes of our shows, Purely and Simply Evil, the Let's Talk Movies podcast, and Classics Revisited, premiere every single week at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at LTM Podcast KY. If you haven't joined the Let's Talk Movies YouTube channel, Facebook group, it's there on the bottom of the screen. I don't know what you're still sitting here waiting for. Type it in, go, search, join, do all the things. So we love you. Have an awesome rest of your week. Stay safe. And we're the ones who live. We're the Walking Dead. We're alive, but you're not. We're the ones who live. Goodbye. See you.